Huwag nyo na po kaming lecturean dyan. Nothing cures an
Article
illegal
125 kasi kahit po mga estudyante ko nahihirapan maintindihan yun eh. Mga gusto na po yan mag-abogado. So, ang iba nga po, kahit abogado na, nagtatanong pa rin sa akin. Kasi po, mahirap talaga siya naintindihin. Siguro po, as part of the mandate of this committee, it's an inquiry in aid of legislation. I think po, Congress can make our laws more understandable. Kasi kung yung nag-aaral nga po ng abogasiya, nahihirapan yun maintindihan, paano pa kaya po yung walang pinag-aralan? So, yun po yung call doon. And, I think po, kailangan, I'm a teacher po kasi, hindi ko kayang mapabayaan na mali yung pagkakaintindi. If there's something wrong with the answer or the explanation, I have to call it outright. So, I just want to make it clear, Mr. Chair, that nothing cures an illegal arrest. Okay? Wala pong makaka-cure doon. The waiver of Article 125 only cures the period that you are detained without a valid warrant. Okay po? When you waive Article 125, sinasabi mo, okay, pag ako inaresto, dapat, within 36 hours, na-file na sa kaso yung court. Na-file na yung kaso sa court. But pag ako nag-waive ng 125, sige, piskal, magdesisyon ka. Magdesisyon ka, pero ako, dito muna sa loob. Dito muna sa kulungan. Yun po yung hindi naiintindihan ng iba. Kasi po, ang iba, pag sinabing, okay, mag-waive ako ng 125, kasi bibigyan ako ng tsansa magpaliwanag. Bibigyan ka po ng tsansa magpaliwanag, pero wini-waive mo yung right mo na i-release ka within 36 hours. Pag wini-waive mo po yon, okay, dito lang ako sa loob ng kulungan habang si piskal nagdidesisyon. Yun po ang konsekwensya ng 125. I want to make it very clear po sa lahat ng mga estudyante ko, sa lahat ng law students, nothing cures an illegal arrest. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Narinig ko na rin po yan nung nag-aaral po ako ng law. Kaya huwag nyo na po kaming lecturean dyan. Nothing cures an illegal arrest, but you have to prove that the arrest was illegal yet. Di po ba? Because if you allege that the arrest was illegal, then you have to prove that the arrest was illegal.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
He who averts must prove it. Tama rin po ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes. And you do not agree with the ruling of the prosecutor insofar as explaining the repercussions of waiving or availing of Article 125.
Well, Mr. Chair, this case is already filed in court and I am already bound by the sub judice rule.
Okay. But in this jurisdiction, we're not bound by the sub judice rule.
Yes, Mr. Chair, but
Yes,
as a lawyer,
there are rulings
I am.
of the Supreme Court already that proves or that says that we are not bound by the sub judice rule in committee hearings of this House of Representatives.
Yes, I agree, Mr. Chair.
Yes, thank you. Because if you read the ruling, nandito naman po yung kwan eh. I do not know if you have read the resolution of the investigating prosecutor.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I read it personally when it was emailed to us.
Yes, and I would just like to emphasize that paragraph, and I would like to quote, "This undertaking were clearly discussed by their counsel." It pertains to the waiver of their rights. Before they voluntarily signed the waiver, the respondents were award-winning film director who graduated from a prestigious university. The other two respondents were both civil engineers, and the other is a sales manager. It is impossible that they did not understand the contents of the request, since their own lawyer assisted them in the process of signing them. That's the exact wordings of the resolution of the prosecutor or investigating prosecutor. Yun po yung kwan. So, while I agree with you that students of law, or even lawyers for that matter, do not fully grasp the meaning of this waiver, I agree with you, Madam. Pero ito po ay kasama sa protocol, di po ba? At ginawa naman, pinagawa ng prosecutor na yung counsel of choice ipaliwanag bago pirmahan yung waiver na yon. That is the protocol, di po ba? Kasi I have been an investigator in my whole life. At ginagawa talaga ito. Di po ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
So, yeah. So, nagawa naman yung prosecutor lahat ng protocol para maprotektahan yung karapatan ng mga accused. The way I look at it, yun ang kwan. Doon sa mga pulis, doon sa hot pursuit to be kwan, hindi naman kailangan na ilagay mo doon sa blatter na you're conducting hot pursuit. Hot pursuit is brought about because of the second instance where you can arrest a person without any warrant of arrest. Kaya intindihin po yun. Kasi palagi nyo ginagamit yung term na hot pursuit, wala naman sa provision of law yung term na hot, or yung phrase na hot pursuit. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Kasi
thank you so much.
Itong kaso ay nasa korte na.
Oo nga eh. So,
doon na sila maglaban-laban. Thank you, Mr.
I was
Chair.
listening intently, doon sa mga pinag-uusapan ng both lawyers, no. I was about to say something then, na dura lex sed lex, no. I took up law also for 1 year, and the law may be hard, but it's still the law, di ba? Ang hirap, no. But we know maraming mga lapses doon sa procedure that we need to understand, especially dun sa attorney that convinced the poor suspects to sign the waiver, and thereby creating a solution for the hot pursuit. And it pains us, no? Dahil nga, of course, kung talagang walang kasalanan, dapat wala na sa kulungan. Pero kung may kasalanan, dapat nakakulong pa sila. That's the essence of democracy in this country, and we have to accept that. And our role in this committee is to find out yung lapses of the procedures of the police. We have seen, and that's the reason why we invited the NAPOLCOM and the ILG to somehow, yung appreciation. The appreciation of the NAPOLCON with regards to those not provision, but the situation wherein the hot pursuit was established, and thereby the decision of the prosecutor was based on that narrative. So can you kindly give us some inputs on this? Siguro unahin na muna natin sino, NAPOLCON muna o DILG muna? DILG muna. O sige, DILG, please.
Maraming salamat po, Mr. Chair. Base po sa mga narinig po natin ngayon po sa mga testimonya ng ating mga resource person. Unang-una po, ang unang komento ko po, gusto ko lang hong i-acknowledge din po yung ginawa ng ating PNP. Kita naman po natin na yung kanilang commitment na to resolve mga ganitong crime, alinsunod sa kanilang duty to protect and to serve. So, maliwanag naman ho na tumugon naman kaagad sila dun sa pangangailangan na dapat they need to resolve the crime immediately. So, dun po sa puntong iyon ay nire-recognize ko naman po ang kanilang pong magandang ginawa. Second comment lang ho natin, doon po sa investigation side, sa nakikita ko po ang pangangailangan po ng ating PNP na palakasin pa po natin siguro po yung kanilang kapasidad, yung kanilang kaalaman tungkol po sa investigation. Baka ho kailangan din ho natin tingnan yon. Sa amin po sa DILG, makikipag-ugnay po kami sa PNP kung ano po yung mga gaps po. Baka may kailangan silang tulong doon. maaaring po sa Kongreso, baka kailangan din ho nila ng tulong sa mga gamit, sa mga pondo, kasi kailangan din ho nila ng continuous capacity building, continuous education. Mga legal po, kailangan din ho nila ng mga abogado na gagabay sa kanilang mga kilos. Kasi very sensitive po talaga to. Maski naman po nung nakaraan, maraming diskusyon na po tungkol dito po sa mga illegal search, illegal arrest. So kailangan din ho talaga nating palakasin ang ating PNP tungkol sa ganitong legal na usapin. With regards naman ho dun sa nakita naman ho natin dito na yung witnesses, may mga witnesses naman naka-identify naman dun sa mga sinabi na yun daw yung gumawa. And then ito yun naman ay isinang-ayunan ng prosecutor at ito yun naman ay nasa korte na. So with that ho, we leave it to the court na lang ho, to decide on the case based on the evidence naman ho submitted by our police and prosecutor. Thank
Yusek
you.
Almas, you have to consider as well the we've been discussing this lengthily, no? Yung quota system, no? Yung tinatawag natin na sweep justice that being perpetrated by our police officers. You have to find out as well, baka mamaya ganun yung ginagawa nila. Kailangan 24 hours solve yung problem. Ang dami nating ganun ang dami nating naging problem, di ba? That yun ang naging kaso. So in this situation, you have to find out also ano yung mga naging naging what do you call that, accomplishment in the last few months. Kung panay sweep justice yan, panay ganyan, ang nangyayari, baka basically, there is a pattern. Kailangan makita nyo yan. So, I'm not saying that they have conducted sweep justices in all their crimes that have been committed in their area, but you have to look into that as well. Okay?
Mr. Chair, salamat
Sige.
po.
Napolcom, Vice Bernardo, please. Congressman
Chair.
Ako, please. Yes. You were...
Before we leave the
the
Undersecretary,
ILG. Yes, go ahead.
may I ask, you said capacity building for our investigators. First question, is there not enough budget for the training of our investigators?
Although I'm not privy po dun po sa pinaka-budget po nila, but I believe meron po naman po sila na provided sa kanila po.
The next issue there is yung training budget na given by the GAA to the Philippine National Police would entail yung training nila in every aspect of their work. Tama po.
Tama po.
Kung tatanungin ko po, how much of that budget is spent for the training of our policemen in so far as investigation is concerned? Makikita po ba natin?
Maaari pong alamin po namin, Mr. Chair, kung paano po na gagamit po yan.
Ang third na issue na susunod po doon ay, sige, sabihin na natin may budget. Meron po bang mga programa na kagaya ng pag-schooling ng ating mga investigador para mapabuti yung kanilang trabaho sa pag-iimbestiga?
Mr. Chair, alam ko, meron po yun. Pero kung ito po ba ay sapat, titignan din po namin kung ayun po ay sapat.
Thank you, Yusek. Is there a representative of the IDM here? Yes. URD, please state your position.
Sir, I am Police Brigadier General Rodolfo Castil Jr., the Deputy DIDM, sir.
So you're the number 2 man.
Yes, sir.
Now, could you please tell this committee, meron po ba kayong courses in the conduct of criminal investigations?
Sir, actually, sir, under the...
Sagutin mo muna yung katanungan ko.
Yes, sir. Meron po kami, sir. It is under ng Special Investigation and Detective Management under po, sir, ng DIDM. Yan po, sir, yung IOBC natin. Saka CIC, sir.
IO?
Yung Investigation Officers Basic Course po, sir. Na
Yes.
kinakandak po, sir, sa mga Chief of Police saka magiging Chief of Police po, sir.
Bakit yung chief of police? Hindi naman yung chief of police ang nag-iimbestiga Kung titignan mo, sarhento nga lang yung nag-iimbestiga
Sir,
Hindi
meron din
dapat
po kami,
silang
sir, para sa...
estudyante ninyo.
Meron din po kami, sir, para sa mga PNCOs yung CIC, sir, Criminal Investigation Course, sir.
Okay, and you are around 200 plus uniform members, right?
Yes, sir.
And how many of this, in this number, how many are considered investigators?
Sir, I'm sorry, sir. As of now, wala po akong figure, sir. Pero yung gagiging procedure yan, sir, halos lahat na po ng chief of police, nag-undergone na po ng IOBC, and then yung mga assigned or designated investigators are graduate po ng criminal investigation course, sir.
Okay. That is what you say. Pero kung binabasa ko yung investigation report ng mga kapulisan dito, it is not within the standard. Kaya yung Supreme Court, sinasabi nga, ina-admonish yung mga investigator natin because cases are dismissed because of sloppy investigation. Yun ang katotohanan. Supreme Court na nga mismo nagsasabi.
Sir, yan po siguro ang ibig sabihin ng ating DILG, sir, na palakasin at karagdagang kaalaman para sa mga kan natin, sir.
Eh kung yun ang kailangan ng sinasabi ng USEC, ng DILG, di gawin po ninyo.
Yes, sir.
Hindi ko
We'll
po
do that,
nakikita
sir.
na ginagawa ninyo eh.
Gagawin po namin, sir.
Yes.
We will invite kayo, sir. Baka invitahin din namin kayo, sir, na magturo kung pwede, sir.
Tapos na ako dyan, iho. Huwag mo akong pagturuin na. Kasi dito pa lang, hirap na ako. And I think that is part of your job there in the Philippine National Police.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, if I have
Yes, Congressman
to
Palma,
rejoinder
please.
lang sa kay Congressman Acop na ano, and to the investigation. I just want to suggest something to give more emphasis on the fundings of the investigation course. Kasi isang problema diyan, yung reshuffling ng investigators. Nagte-training sila. After 3 months, 2 months, papalitan ng bagong hepe because hindi niya tao yung investigator. So dapat sana, there should be a continuity. Most of our cases, whether it's a SWIFT or otherwise, ang problema, nasa investigator yung the success or the failure of the cases filed before the court. So my suggestion, number 1, bigyan ng enough funding for the training. Number 2, if possible, walang palitan ho ng investigator para may continuity. Palitan mo yon without the proper training, yun ang problema. Sayang yung pera na binigay natin sa training tapos all of a sudden, ganun na. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, since na-transfer na yung PNPA saka NPTI, di ba? Na-transfer na yun sa PNP eh. Di ba? And all the courses and all the curriculum that are being conducted by the new recruits are being undergone by the PNP, by the PNP, correct? So ang tanong ko, what changes transpired during the transfer of this authority being given to the PNP? How many hours are being conducted for the criminal law? Halimbawa, doon sa mga bagong recruits, ilang oras ang inaalat natin para matutunan nila yung klase ng pag-iimbestiga? Baka kasi dyan tayo nagpe-fail eh. Doon sa courses that being conducted by the new recruits. Sa mga bagong recruits na mga, ano bang unang, patrolman ba yan? Patrolman na muna, di ba? O corporal, mga ganyan. Ilang oras ang inaalat natin sa kanila sa loob ng 6 months ba yan? 6 months sila, di ba? DIDM. Ilang months sila?
Sir, actually, sir, I'm very sorry kasi hindi ko sigurado, sir. It is under the PNTI or the DHRDD, sir. Sila po, sir, ang nakakuha ng POI po natin, sir.
Okay. Siguro, sino ba makakasagot dito? I think na Polcom, you can answer on this, ano? Kasi siyempre, anong klase ng pag-aaral na ginagawa ng mga new recruits? Kasi sila nakita mo yung mga mga nag-imbestiga, 'di ba? Ilang oras sila nag-aral ng investigasyon?
Salamat po, Chairman.
Sige, go ahead, BC.
Yung program of instruction nga po nagmumula doon sa National Police Training Institute. Mula doon sa non-commissioned officer at pati yung mga officer. At meron din pong curricula na piniprescribe ng Philippine National Police Academy para doon sa mga mag-oopisyal na magtitiniente. At yung mga opisyal na naman po mula tiniente pataas po, pari pong magkaroon ng training doon sa PNP Training Service. Totoo nga po na meron tayong tinatawag na Directorate for Human Resource and Doctrine Development. Kinakausap po namin sila na kinakailangan na-ladderize yung kanilang training modules para yung mga entry level at mga position, kasi meron po mga tinatawag na position description at mga specialized training na dapat ginagayak. Ito po sana magsimula sa training at mailagay sa Manual of Operation kagaya ng PNP Operational Procedure, at dapat ito rin yung performance evaluation at performance indicator. Kung yung mga na-train sa kanila nailagay doon sa Manual of Operation, at ito rin ba ang pinagbabasihan sa kanilang performance rating. Kagaya po ng observation kanina, kung maraming mga kaso na natatalo, yung mga investigador at yung mga dapat magiging base ito sa kanilang performance evaluation. Ito ba aaralin ito? Ano ba ang sanhi rito? Hindi ba ito na ituro sa entry level o sa officers level?
Putulin lang muna kita, busy, no? Gusto ko malaman kung doon sa performance basis nila, paano sila kinakategorize? For example, kasi usually ang sinasabi natin sa mga sa mga police natin, 'di ba, yung tinatawag natin na accomplishment report. Kapag ba na-file na nila, is that considered as accomplishment na? Or ang basis natin ay yung resulta nung kaso?
Maganda pong observation. Totoo po na hindi po na kami ngayon statistic ang pinagbabasihan. Halimbawa yung bilang ng aresto, hindi ito lang ang basihan para magkaroon siya ng positive performance rating. Ang pinag-uusapan kasi po meron bang peace and order? Hindi yung bilang ng huli ang magpapatunay na may peace and order. Gaya po ng drug affectation. Kailangan nababalidate po ito ng ADAG at nababalidate din ng PIDEA kung talagang wala nang hindi na ito nabibilang sa mga drug affected barangays, at yun po ang magiging basis ng performance. Kaya kung marais ang huli, hindi nangangahulugan ng mapayapa ang lugar o hindi mapayapa. At yung pagpa-file po ng case, hindi ito necessary na solve ba yung case, kasi kumisan po natatalo pagdating po doon sa tamang estado na.
Pero yun na nagiging barometer ngayon ng ating pong mga kapulisan, yung ating RD, ito ba nagiging basehan natin sa minsan sa performance base natin, yung halimbawa yung na-accomplish mo yung report na numbers of crimes that was filed, or naka-base tayo doon sa case decided?
Sir, hindi lang po yan, pero isang factor din po yan po.
Oo, kasi dapat we have to consider minsan, kasi gano'n na nadidinig namin sa ground na kailangan talagang maraming huli di ba? At kapag gano'n ang sitwasyon natin, nagka-base tayo dun sa gusto natin swift justice based on equality, di ba? Pero kung basta na lang mahuli para may accomplishment, that is something, di ba? Kaya